The Delhi Sultanate will bring about a clash between the Hindus of India and the Muslims in India. And briefly, the Muslims will win and unite much of North Africa together. They are most known for their famous ruler Akbar the Great, who was an absolute monarch. And Akbar was different than many of his contemporaries because he wanted to rule through religious toleration. Let's bring in Hindu, let's bring in Muslim, let's bring in Christian, let's bring in Judaic, let's bring in Buddhist, and let's find what we have in common rather than what divides us. Look at where we're similar. At their root, most religions have the same core, all right? Okay, maybe not. You guys got a pulse? You guys need a break? Can we finish up? Okay, as long as you guys are looking. Of course, Ian, I don't even know what you're doing over there. What are you doing over there? Eating? What are you eating?
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds, all right. All right. Anyway, this allows Akbar to rule the large and diverse subcontinent. His successors, however, will lose Muslim dominance in India. One will build the Taj Mahal, financially bankrupting India, and he will also allow the British to gain access to seaports on the Indian coast. And once those British get their hooks in you, you're done. All right, you are done. The Safavid dynasty was a strong central monarchy who pretty much kept to themselves. They did control some parts of the Silk Road, which kept them safe, but they were pretty much punching bags for the Mughals and the Ottomans.
Where was the Safavid again?
Iran. What is today Iran. The Great Ottoman Empire. Well, between 900 and 1600 also is when we have the missionaries that are going to come in, and they are going to repair or try to repair some of the damage that Tamerlane caused. So from 900 to 1600, the Sufis will follow in the wake of destruction, and they will spread Islam as far away as Indonesia, which today is the #1 Islamic country in the world at being 100% Muslim. Most people, if you ask them to tell you, to bet you, what is the #1 country of Islam in the world, everyone says Saudi Arabia, where it started. Not true, it's Indonesia. It's a dinner table conversation. Mom, can I have dessert? Why, yes, Forrest, we're having, peanut butter covered brownies. Well, Mom, if you can answer this question, can I have 2? That'll get you 2 brownies. I don't know if they would cover like peanut butter covered brownies. Would that taste good? Well, kind of like a Reese cup thing, but I don't know. Maybe a little bit too much. I don't know. I'd try it though, but anyway, so I don't know. You know what's sitting heavy right now, dude? Those garlic knots, dude, are like a steel ball. Harish is not even paying attention. Sorry, what's going on, Harish? What's up? All right. All right. I want to briefly talk about the Ottoman Empire. It will be one of the longest lasting Muslim empires in the world, controlling Turkey, the Middle East, over to Egypt, up into Southern Europe. It will be around from 1300 to 1918, the end of World War I. It will, when the Ottomans take over in the Middle East, that shows a switch from Islam being dominated by Arabs to being dominated by ethnic Turks. And the Ottomans are most known for two leaders. Number one is Mayhead II. Mayhead will be the guy who will finally conquer Constantinople. And he will increase Muslim territory all the way across the Black Sea to the Ukraine. From the Ukraine down belongs to the Ottomans. And another great ruler is a guy named Suleiman the Magnificent. Suleiman was determined to force religious unity in his empire. He is a Sunni, and he will use the Quran to write what is known as the Quname. And the Quname is a rule book of law that was designed to be preventative. Let's get ahead of the game. Let's not react to what we think a crime is. Let's try and get ahead of that curve. But it's based on Islam. Suleiman also set up, as a comparison, Confucian-type schools throughout his empire to train governing officials. And being a governing official would raise your status within the Ottoman Empire. And so at this point, by the late 16 or 1700s, the Ottomans were in their day on par with their European contemporaries. But starting in 1700, there will be a very quick shift where Europeans, due to industrialization, will jump to the front of the world. And so Islamic society will stop growing for a time, and they will be subject to European imperialism in Africa, in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia, in India. How did the British be able to dominate most of India? Who do they play off each other? Hindu and Muslim princes. So Islam will be embedded. It won't go anywhere, but it will be under assault for a long time. Next big time to talk about Islam is during the late 1950s through World War II. Hindu and Muslim Indians united to get rid of the British. They were going to force the British out. I remember the Sepoy Rebellion. As the British made concessions and they were leaving, saying, fine, we're leaving, violence sprang up between Hindus and Muslims. It became very, very violent. So the British government, at the same time they were creating Israel, says we're going to drop a new political boundary and we're going to create a Muslim state and a Hindu state. So in 1947, the British government will create the modern nation of Pakistan. Muslims were told to go to Pakistan, and Hindus were told to go to India. It was a massive displacement. Thousands of people passed each other going over the borders in either direction. So while they are ethnically the same, Pakistanis are primarily Muslim, where Hindus, Indians will be primarily, Hindu Indians. People who remain in India will be primarily Hindus. There you go. All right. So that is the next time. After that, Islam will show up a couple more places. Number one, the fundamentalist Iranian Revolution in 1979, when they capture the American hostages, trying to form a fundamental Islamist state in the Middle East. And by fundamentalist is you have these new leaders who have deviated from the original Quran. There's the concept of the jihad, right? Well, remember, Muhammad was accepting of Christians and Muslims, but due to years of colonialism, the new mode of jihad is just to, get rid of perceived enemies, mostly the Western world. That is ramped up when the Soviet Union invades Afghanistan, also in 1979. And in the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, when we funded and equipped both sides, whoever wins was going to be our friend. Both countries have a lot of oil. So whoever wins is going to be our friend. We were kind of rooting for Iraq at the time. So, decolonization will cause modern day acts of terrorism, from Hezbollah to the PLO to Al-Qaeda to the Taliban. These are groups that will give overall Islam a bad name. They are not true. I mean, I'm sure they are practicing, but they have deviated from the true Muslim mission. And the way to gain notoriety for their cause is events like September 11th, the London Tube bombing, the Boston bombing, so on and so forth. Whew. That's Islam. It's a wrap. You guys have any questions? What's that? The Abbasids. The Abbasid dynasty will be in the heart and the core of the Middle East. So Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Syria, places like that. Yes, they were cousins.
They were Christian?
No, no. One was polytheist, the other one was Muslim.
And then the other cousin
Question?
was Bert.
I'm sorry, what was that? All right.
And the other cousin was Bert.
Who was Muslim? Dude, I'm sorry about your back, man.
No, it's all right. It just made me angry that an old man did that.